Hello, welcome to my channel. The reason I'm laughing so much is because I just cannot seem to get through recording without messing up. Hi, I'm Holly. I am just a person who loves to craft just as a hobby. I'm a teacher, and then on the weekends and the evenings when I have free time, I craft. So my hobbies include sewing. You can see on my fabric down there on the table. Quilting, I knit, I crochet, and my latest thing that I picked up is making tumblers. So here are some of the tumblers I've made. I started using epoxy, and then I switched to Brite tone because I get a lot of headaches, and then I kind of go back and forth between epoxy and Brite tone. So I made a cup in December for two mentorship groups I'm in. One of the mentorship groups uses Brite tone and super artistic. That is Lauren Quigley's creative community. And the other mentorship group I'm in is called Baddiee University. That's Mayra makes it. She uses epoxy. So I thought I would, stick with two groups. One uses Brite tone, one epoxy. And I created a cup for both of those groups. For Lauren Quigley, her monthly challenge was to use inspiration from a dessert, like a photo or some sort of dessert. Take that dessert and inspire yourself to create a tumbler or something with that photo. The other group, Mayra makes it, Baddiee University, her challenge for that same month was to use foil. So I thought, why don't I kill two birds with one stone? I will create a cup using a dessert and foil. So I'll post a picture in this YouTube video of the dessert that inspired me, but this is the cup that I created. So this cup was created using an inspirational photo of a wedding cake, or I think it was a wedding cake, and it had all the blues and the whites and the golds. And then so I used the foil to fulfill the challenge for Mayra Makes It, Baddiee University's challenge, and I came up with this cup. So this is hydro dipped. It's a white glittered base hydro dipped cup. And then I put foil on it, and it says inhale, exhale, repeat. So I made one of these in December. My sister bought it immediately. So I recreated it, made a second one. So this is the second one using epoxy. But then I thought, I'm gonna try it with Brite tone too. So this is the cup with Brite tone. It's glitter-based white. It is hydro-dipped just like the epoxy, but this one is Brite tone. My personal favorite type of cup, and you can see the shine on there, it's beautiful, is Brite tone because it is not as heavy. And I like the grip, the feel of the Brite tone cups in my hand more than epoxy. And Brite tone doesn't give me headaches. So through this tutorial, I will show you both of these side by side. And at the very end, I'll talk about the pros and cons that I found when using both Brite tone and epoxy for this specific cup. But this is the cup that we are making for the YouTube tutorial, and I hope you enjoy it. Here is that dessert that I was talking about. This is my inspirational photo for these two tumblers. I used spray paint for the epoxy cup, and I used Crystalac's Universal White for the Brite tone cup. So here is the Brite tone cup with the Universal White base. I applied a generous amount of Brite tone, not so thick that it's like spinning around the cup falling off, but thick enough so that it doesn't dry before you get that glitter sprinkled on there. After I apply a layer of the Brite tone, I'm going to sprinkle on the glitter. And I think I let this glitter sit on there and dry in front of my heater for about an hour. And then I went over it with some glitter glue and applied a second sprinkle of glitter just to make sure I filled in all those areas. Here, the video is going to speed up a little bit, and then we will move on to the epoxy cup. Here is the epoxy cup. I am applying a very thin layer of Mr. Nola's glass coat. epoxy, and I will sprinkle the same white glitter that I used on the Brite Tone cup. In the description of this video, I'll make sure I post all the colors of the glitters and the epoxies and the foils and everything I use, spray paint, so you can look at those if you want to replicate this cup. So thin layer, sprinkle the glitter. After this first layer of epoxy with the glitter application dries and cures fully, I'll go over it with a second coat of epoxy, but the second coat is going to be a speed dry. It's going to be Mr. Nola's speed dry epoxy, just so I can get to the final application and the foils a little bit quicker. As you can see, I ran out of my gloves during this video, and I was waiting for Amazon to make a delivery, and Amazon got a little bit held up, so I used those little finger gloves. 100% do not recommend. That was an issue, but I did my best. All right, this video is going to speed up through that process. Here is that clip of me applying the Crystalac company's glitter glue to this Brite Tone cup. This cup has that first layer of glitter on it. It sat to dry. Now I'm taking a wide paintbrush, applying a generous coat of glitter glue to this cup. I'll do one more sprinkle of glitter and let that dry completely again. And then I'll seal with the glitter glue until it's fairly not smooth, but just so it's not as chunky and bumpy before I begin the applications of the Brite Tone. So I'm going to let this speed up. Here is that second layer of speed dry epoxy I was mentioning. When you're using epoxy, you do not want it to hit your skin. That's why you wear the gloves, and you should be wearing, well, I'm not going to say you should because it's a personal choice, but I believe that you need to wear a mask to protect yourself from the toxicity of the epoxy. It is harmful. So you can't see my face, but I have like a half mask on. I should be protecting my eyes too. I need to order a full mask, but right now I have a half mask. That epoxy kept hitting my fingers, my bare fingers, because of those little teeny finger gloves, which wasn't ideal. But here I am popping the bubbles with my little torch. And after it fully dries, the cup on the left that's shiny is the epoxy cup. The one that's not shiny, that is the Brite Tone cup. I'm going to dip these into a bucket of water. This bucket has been used over and over for hydro dipping. It is a mess. It is a dirty bucket. That's okay. You just scoop out the crud and then you put in some nice fresh water. You want to layer your spray paint. The way I do it is I do kind of my base color first, which would be the white. And then I pop in the little spritzes of blue on top of the white, and then I'll end it again with the white. And then as you dip your cup, I hold it at an angle, and as I'm dipping my cup into the water, you're going to see me give a little twist as it's going into the water. I'll fully submerge it, give it a little shake, and then kind of twist it back out and let it dry. So I'll let you watch this process. Once that spray paint completely dries, I think I let these sit overnight, you can start going in with a paper towel or a cloth or Q-tips. I dip those in either lemon essential oil to get rid of some of the spots of spray paint that I didn't like, or I use acetone. Lemon essential oil I feel like is less harsh on my epoxy. If I rub it too much with the acetone, it starts to strip off the epoxy and leave it feeling, I don't know, just like textured. And I don't care for that. So I start with the lemon essential oil. And if I have to go back through and use the acetone to get rid of some essential oil residue or to tidy up just a little area here and there, I'll do that with, as needed. But I like to start with the essential oil. So I'm going to stop talking and let this speed up so you can watch the process. Here's the foil I'm using. I got it from Amazon. I will try to find that and link it in the description. I'm going to use tack it over and over to apply this foil to areas that I want to accentuate or maybe hide a flaw or something that I feel looks a little blank and could use a little pizzazz. So when I use the tack it, I always use a chip brush. I'm just comfortable with that method. I hold the chip brush straight up and down, tap it into the tacket, and then I tap off the excess so that really the tacket is just barely on the tips of that chip brush. And because the chip brush is uneven on the end, it makes a really cool like textured look when you apply that foil. So once that tacket is applied, I heat it up quickly with my heat gun. You just want it to be barely tacky. You don't want it to be totally wet. And then when you apply your foil, you tap on the little bits of foil. You'll see me apply it with a pair of tweezers. And then I rub it with my finger to get the excess foil to fall off. And then when you rub it, the pressure of your finger on top of that foil creates a brushed look. So you'll have dark bits of the foil and then you'll have lighter bits and it looks textured and beautiful. So I'm going to do that all over this cup. This is the Brite Tone cup as well as the epoxy cup, and I will just let you watch that process. Before you apply your epoxy or your Brite Tone over this foil, you want to protect it and seal it. I used Rustoleum 2x clear gloss for both the Brite Tone and the epoxy cup, and I let those sit overnight before I went ahead and applied the Brite Tone and the epoxy. Oh boy, these words were so tiny, not fun to weed. Once I had it weeded, I did make duplicates because I lost little dots or little bits and pieces of the letters. I found them later stuck to my pants. I found them on the carpet. Some of them were stuck to my hand. I don't know where they went. They were gone. So I made duplicates and I got it all weeded out. It was all good. If I had to do it again, I would apply the words just a little bit lower on this cup. When I first set the words down, they looked like they were dead center, but once I released the paper backing and stood back and looked at the cup, the words were just a little bit too high for my liking. I like them to be dead center, but it wasn't a make it or break it, so I just left it as is. I applied the words both to the right side of the handle and the left side of the handle because you never know if someone's left-handed or right-handed or how they hold their cup. But with the Brite tone cup, I only did one set of words because it didn't have a handle. If you find that you have little pieces of vinyl stuck in those little teeny areas, you can just weed those out after they're already applied to your cup, and it makes life much easier. All right, here we are at the finish line. This is my epoxy cup. I had one more layer I had to apply, and that's it because I didn't have any vinyl poking out. A pro for the epoxy is that this is a bright white based glitter cup, and that white stayed true to its color the whole way through the process. A con is that, of course, you have to wear your PPE. The cup is going to be a little bit heavier because of the layers of epoxy, but I didn't have to use that many layers of epoxy, so it's not too heavy. And of course, you have to use your gloves, and the dry time is quite long. For the Brite tone cup, I just applied it with a bare hand, so that's definitely a pro in my opinion. And you only have to wait 4 hours between layers for it to dry. A con, if you can see in this video, it has a slight yellow tint to it, and that's a user error. I believe that my coats of Brite tone were too thick, so I'm definitely going to practice applying Brite tone to white-based tumblers and see if I can fix that error. But all in all, this whole process was fun. I enjoyed making this video for you. I hope you enjoy it too. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. I'll be sure to link all the products that I used in the descriptions. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy. Bloopers to follow. So this tumbler, I thought I would make a YouTube tutorial to create something with an inspiration. Hello, welcome to my channel. I don't know how many times I've already tried to record this. I've never made a YouTube video before, but here I am. This video is, and I am just somebody who loves to craft, trying to make a YouTube video. And my latest, I'm just playing, having fun with this hobby. I'm in a couple of mentorship